quick video because it's very difficult for me to convey what we do in slides. It's a very complex business, but this video was tailor-made for the ANZ market. I'm going to ask that we take a quick look at that and then I'll race through the slides.
Alibaba was built on a dream to make it easy to do business anywhere. In pursuit of our mission, we built the foundation of e-commerce in China. Marketplaces for buyers and sellers to connect, trusted payment solutions, logistics for quick and reliable delivery to even the most remote locations, and media and data-driven solutions to help businesses reach and engage consumers in ways never before possible. Today in China, e-commerce is commerce, and hundreds of millions of consumers connect through Alibaba's growing ecosystem. And we've only just begun. Alibaba's ecosystem continues to evolve as we develop tomorrow's technologies. Our mission hasn't changed. We still believe that all anyone really wants is an opportunity to work toward their own dream.
Alibaba has had a tremendous impact on our family business. From where we first started in our garage in 2004, now looking at it in 2017, being distributed to more than 13 countries worldwide. Our vision for the China market in the next few years to come is to definitely focus on our B2C platform and selling through Tmall into Chinese consumers. There's no other real platform in the world that you can just jump on and place your products on there, and in a month's time you could be selling to supermarkets in Spain. And for a company like us on the Gold Coast, it's taken our family and our little business to places that we could have only ever dreamed of.
The Chinese market is Sydney Fish Market's biggest growing market. So we now attract over 330,000 Chinese tourists to the site every year. We believe it's really important to offer preferred payment methods for each of our customer groups. Given that Alipay is extremely popular in China, we really wanted to be on the forefront and be able to offer our Chinese customers that payment method. It means they can see what something is costing in their own currency, and it's easier than carrying around a lot of local cash. It benefits both the customer by providing potential discounts as well as a preferred payment method. And for our retailers it's great because it just draws in more people through those promotions.
To be able to be successful in China, in our opinion, you really have to choose the right partner. You need a very good platform, which we have chosen Alibaba to be our partner. So for a big brand partnering up with another big brand in China, is where we want to go and we want to be. We are now the biggest overseas merchant on the e-commerce platform in China. The response from the customer is they are able to purchase Australia products like how they always wanted. Without being traveled to Australia, they are able to purchase it at affordable prices.
New Zealand has a huge advantage as it is seen globally as a country in harmony with nature and as a trusted supplier of safe and environmentally friendly produce and product. Alibaba provides a commercial ecosystem which is ideal for EcoStore. They have a talented team that is customer focused, and this fits perfectly with EcoStore's customer first philosophy. Family is really important in China, and our products allow customers to make good decisions for themselves, their families, and the environment.
The Swiss vision is actually worldwide the same. It's never changed in the last almost 50 years, and it's making millions of people healthier and happier. The Alibaba platforms for us have been an absolute tremendous success, and first and foremost because I think they're absolutely in the cutting edge of technology and connecting consumers with the products they really desire. For Chinese consumers in particular, who are often confronted with counterfeited product, this integrity of the product, the quality, the purity, and the reliability of getting the genuine thing is just something that Australia can be really proud of. And I think that has been driving the Australian exports to China to a great extent, really. In a short period of time, Alibaba has helped us becoming a tremendous success. And I don't think there's any other platform out there who could be doing something similar.
Alibaba was born in China, but we believe it belongs to the world. This is the promise of the internet and the potential of e-commerce. Borders need not separate us, and we feel that connecting us all with commercial opportunity will make China better and the world better. The future we envision is a world where even small businesses can compete in a truly global market. For the first time in history, we have the technology to make this possible. One dream at a time, we are building a better, more prosperous future.
Talking to someone outside this morning, it dawned on me that I constantly have to be very careful with the audience I'm talking to. Alibaba, the original business, which I imagine a lot of you know, started as a B2B business. So if you wanted to order 1 million lanyards, or some t-shirts, or some pizza ovens, you could buy them. That's a big B2B export for us still. That's really the roots of the business. But over time, we've turned into a major B2C, B2B business in and out of China. So everything you see on here is what's traded on our platform called Tmall. Tmall has a GMV, or gross merchandise value, of products going across the platform larger than Walmart. It's larger than Amazon and eBay combined. So the business is a young business, but it's evolving at a very fast clip. And if there's something for you to take away today, I really want you to understand at which the speed and momentum China's moving at. As I mentioned, Jack started the company in his apartment with 18 colleagues. Half of these colleagues are still with the business, and most of the other half either reside in Australia or New Zealand, where their children go to school. They love the culture, they love the environment down here. You need to remember, the people leading these Chinese e-commerce businesses probably understand your market much better than you understand theirs. We benefited from a couple of interesting things happening in China. Obviously the enormous demographics, but more importantly the adoption of the internet, and particularly in this era, the smartphone. I mentioned the GMV, and combined with the penetration of a vast number of those people in a very short space of time, the e-commerce market there has evolved quite unlike anything in the world. So I really ask you to put down the blinkers today, and while I'll make analogies with Amazon or with eBay or PayPal or Google, you need to understand it's a parallel universe and things happen there differently. So this is probably the most important slide of the day. It's a very complex one, but I'll try to break it down for you, because if there's a 101 on Chinese e-commerce, this is it. The top left-hand corner are our platforms. Taobao is effectively like Gumtree. It's a C2C platform. All of this material, by the way, is available on our investor relations site and our blog, so I'll make sure you can share it with your delegates. Tmall is like the Amazon. Zhuhua-san, the top right, the 3 characters in red, is like Groupon. Alibaba.com, I mentioned, is B2B. 1688 is B2B into China. A lot of smart Chinese traders in Australia trade cheese, wine, honey, other products into China on 1688, and that then goes to hotels, restaurants, supermarket chains in an offline world. Sun Taobao is our village push. We're really pushing to get products into the villages of China. There's about another 400 million consumers who we want to tap. AliExpress is like our Amazon, B2C out of China. So if you want to buy some cool drones or some cool fashion or Chinese Fitbit watches, it's on AliExpress, and I imagine a lot of your children trade on AliExpress because we have very high penetration here. Tmall Global is our premium site where Bellamy's, Blackmore's, A2, Murray Goulburn, etc. a lot of people trade. And Lazada is a business we just acquired in Southeast Asia, which is allowing us to get into the ASEAN market. It was a $1 billion acquisition last year. To the right is the social media that allows you to tell your brand story. So the equivalents of YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, etc. And then on the far right, the local services are effectively the review sites. So unlike Australia and New Zealand, Chinese review their products very aggressively with each other, with brands. You can get reimbursed for giving a good review of a site. And so before anyone buys anything in China, they'll do 2 things. They'll ask a friend for a word of mouth recommendation, and then they'll go online and review it actively. This is completely different from how consumers behave in this market. And then underneath it are our 4 enabling technologies. Alipay, which is our payments platform, which is now preferred ahead of cash in China and is bigger than MasterCard globally. Cainiao is our logistics cooperative. Underneath that is a platform, Alimama, which is like our search engine optimization, like Google Analytics. And then below that is the cloud business. All of these businesses have teams in Australia that we're building out. So we've gone beyond e-commerce to what we call social commerce. People are really living on this platform. Maggie Jo, who runs Australia with me, likes to make the comment that in the West, e-commerce is dessert, and in China, it's the main course. It has a bit more oomph when a Chinese person is saying it in a second language, but that is a very, very good analogy. If I was to think about the last time I transacted on e-commerce, it would be in the last 2 or 3 days. If you were to ask someone who is Chinese, or probably younger than me, because that's by far the important demographic, it would be multiple times in a day. Singles Day, 11/11, is a big shopping festival that was started in China about a decade ago. This has turned into effectively a digital telethon. And if you looked at 11/11 last year, it was a lot around merchandising and packaging products together, free shipping, buy one, get one free, classic retail merchandising detail. This year, it's really about social commerce. I was excited to have the Victoria's Secret supermodels there performing for the first time outside of Paris. In Shenzhen, we had Kobe Bryant presenting, David Beckham and his wife were there launching their own products. And it was just this kind of day-long fanfare, which I found exhausting. We hosted a lot of clients up there, but effectively it had evolved in 1 year from what was a shopping festival last year to a shopping festival this year. Most importantly for us, if you look in the middle, top 5 selling countries to China. There's a flag there just above Germany. Australia and New Zealand are gifted with an incredible phenomena right now, which is the Chinese resident and student and visitor to Australia. You may have heard them being referred to in the media as Daigou shoppers, effectively home shoppers. Chinese who moved to Australia or have lived here for some time really put all those brands on the map. And if you talk to Christine Holgate at Blackmores, or you talk to Taylor Spearns at Fonterra, or anyone, Chinese really put these brands onto the internet in China before Australian companies have done. And so when I speak to colleagues in Europe and North America, they would love to have the penetration of Chinese in their communities that we do here, because it doesn't exist anywhere else. We effectively have 3 million Chinese either visiting or living in Australia and New Zealand every year, half of them tourists, half of them residents, and then they're infecting their friends and everyone else back in China through their smartphone. We see this as an asset. I think the smart brands and the bigger businesses are really embracing the top Daigou, and over time, all of the grey channels which have been used to get these products up to China are being cleaned up, and this is an incredible opportunity for us. I'll talk about that ranking on the last slide again, because there's some really exciting prospects for us. The other interesting thing, 82% of all commerce was conducted on a phone. Most of our brands don't even have an app that works on an iPad. It's all on the phone. And FYI, no CEOs in China use email anymore. They're all using either WeChat or they're using our platform, which is Ding Talk. So I was challenged by someone who wanted to buy our pizza business about 5 years ago. When we said, oh, have you received that IM we sent you? He's like, what, did you send it on email? I don't look at email. So I really urge you to really look at this market as a different market moving in a different momentum. And in terms of a global approach, we're not going to compete with Amazon. We're not going to compete with large Western retailers. We're about servicing the Chinese consumer and consumers in Southeast Asia and India, getting the best brands in the world, which come from North America, Japan, Korea, Europe, and Australia, New Zealand, into those markets. That's the opportunity. So how does this all stack up for Australia? I know some of you were at our office opening last week, but last week that little guy on the left next to that